Okay, so good day. We are now proceeding to our lesson 3. We are done with our lesson 1 and 2. So let's move on to lesson 3, the NSTP program. So under this lesson, we have 3 topics: the legal basics of National Service Training Program, the components of NSTP, and the 7 dimensions of NSTP. So what are the learning outcomes? So at the end of these lessons, students have knowledge on the legal basis of the National Service Training Program or NSTP. Be familiar on the components of NSTP. Be aware on the programs of NSTP. And be familiar on the dimensions of NSTP CWATS development. So what are the legal basis of the NSTP? Bakit ba tayo nagtitake ng NSTP CWTS? It is because of the National Service Training Program or NSTP law, or RA 9167, or also known as an Act establishing the National Service Training Program or NSTP for tertiary level students, amending for the purpose Republic Act number 7077 or yung compulsory service for Filipino citizens. So, yun yung dahilan kung bakit tayo nagtitake kasi nasa batas siya talaga. Parang yung Rizal. Si Rizal is nasa law din natin na i-take, kaya laging nandyan yung subject na Rizal, hindi mawala. So, ano nga ba ang NSTP? So, it is a program aimed to enhancing civic consciousness and defense preparedness in the youth by developing the ethics of services and patriotism while undergoing training in any of the 3 program components specifically designed to enhance the youth's active contribution to the general welfare. So, ano nga ba yung mga components ng NSTP? We have 3. The Reserve Officers Training Corps or the ROTC, the CWTS, and the LTS. So, Reserve Officers Training Corps or yung ROTC is a program institutionalized under Section 38 and 39 of Republic Act number 7077, designed to provide military training to motivate, train, organize, and mobilize them for national defense preparedness. So, ROTC is for military training. Civic Welfare Training Service is for general welfare and the betterment of life for the members of the community, specifically or especially those who devoted to improving health, education, environment, entrepreneurship, safety, recreation, and moral of citizenry. So, yung LTS naman, ang program na to is to train the students to become teachers of literacy. So, who are covered by the NSTP law? Sino nga ba ang covered ng batas na to? All incoming freshman students, male or female, nag-start ito ng school year 2002 to 2003, enrolled in any baccalaureate and in at least 2-year technical vocational or associate courses. So, kahit anong courses mo, kahit vocational course ka, mag-take ka ng NSTP because it is in the law. So, all higher and technical vocational education institutions must at least offer one. So, sa private naman, pwede silang mag-offer ng ROTC cadets kung meron silang 350 students. So, what is the duration and equivalent course unit of each of the NSTP components? So, ang equivalent unit ng NSTP is 3 units per semester. You will be undertaken this subject for 2 semesters for at least 54 to 90 training hours per semester. So, what fee shall be charged to students taking any of the NSTP components? So, no other fee shall be collected except basic tuition fees, which should not be more than 50% of the charge of the school per academic unit. But now, since tuition fee is all free, so wala na talaga kayong babayaran. So, who will manage the NSTP implementation? So, syempre, school authorities. sa ROTC, school authorities, and the DND. So, sa CHED Regional Office TESDA, DND and AFP. So, through the major services or commands, shall be oversee and monitor the implementation of the NSTP under their respective jurisdiction. So, determine if the trainings are being conducted to consonance with the objectives of the NSTP law. So, what are the dimensions of development of CWAS? So, these are the service or yung safety and security. This involves disaster preparedness during calamities, the education or the enhancement of institutional support materials and facilities for the community and school. For our recreation, it involves sports fest, parlor games for street children, and painting that enrich youth's capacities to relate with one another in the community. So, values formation and moral recovery, development of youth to be a good leaders, responsible individuals imbued with good moral values and active agent of development in the community. So, industry and entrepreneurship, enhancement of institutional support materials and facilities for the community and school. So, care for health, give knowledge on medical-related fields, and extend health services needed in the community. And for the environment, inculcates environmental awareness in its contribution to health and related fields. So, we proceed to Module 2, which is the natural hazard. Topic 1 for Module 2, natural hazard. So, Lesson 4, disaster awareness and management. Topics. Philippines natural hazards, typhoons, mataas color-coded rainfall advisories, volcanoes, earthquakes, floods, tsunamis, landslide, droughts, and so on. So, learning outcomes to identify the different natural disasters in the Philippines and develop a readiness when disaster hits. So, ngayon, tama-tama to kasi ilang bagyo ang pumasok sa bansa natin ngayon. Tatlong sunod-sunod. So, the Philippines experiences a natural hazards such as typhoons, earthquakes, floods, volcanic eruptions, landslide, and fires. So, let's begin to typhoons. So, typhoons are both the most common and most destructive natural disasters in the Philippines. So, bakit kaya? It is because malapit tayo, nandun tayo dun sa ring of fire na tinatawag nila. So, ano ba yung mga disastrous typhoons na tumama sa atin? These are the typhoons, Haiyan, or yung Yolanda. Ito ay pumasok ng November 8, 2013 sa atin, which more than 6,000 killed and 6,800 missing. So, si Thelma or si Uring, ito naman ay yung November 15, 1991 din siya. Sa Ormoc siya tumama, 5,100 ang namatay. So, si Ike or si Nitang, 1984 siya, 231 km per hour ang kanyang lakas. So, si Feng Xin or si Frank, si Bagyong Frank, noong 2008, which 1,371 yata ang killed and 87 missing. Si Bagyong Washi or si Sendong, matatanda si Sendong ay 2011, which killed 1,080. And si Durian ay si Reming. Si Bagyong Reming noong 2006. Si Bopa naman sa Philippines ay si Pablo. Noong 2012, 1,900 ang namatay siya. So, si Trix noong 1952 siya, 995 ang namatay. Si Ami is noong 1951, 991 naman ang namatay sa kanya. And si Nina noong 1987, 979 ang namatay sa kanila. So, yan yung mga bagyo na naka-record na tumama sa Pilipinas from 1947 to 2014. So far, si Typhoon Haiyan or si Yolanda yung pinakamalaking resulted disastrous typhoons recorded in the Philippines. In the world, rather. 6,300 lost lives, or over 4 million displaced citizens, and $2 billion in damage. So, 2013 yan. So, these are the rainfall advisories or classification and measurement. So, we have red, orange, and yellow. These are the rainfall, color-coded rainfall advisories and classifications. So, kapag ka yellow rainfall advisory, ma-observe nyo ang heavy rain sa loob ng isang oras and mag-expect ng hanggang sa susunod na 2 oras. So, ang rain measurement niya is 7.5 to 11 to 15 mm rain or 2 gallons per square meter per hour. So, sa flood visibility niya, flooding is possible, monitor pa rin yung weather condition niya. Yellow rainfall advisory. So, kapag nag-orange rainfall advisory na, ibig sabihin, you will suffering into intense rain or 4 to 8 gallons per square meter per hour na ang binabagsak na ulan sa loob ng 1 hanggang 2 oras. So, flooding is threatening. Ibig sabihin, alert na dapat kayo for possible evacuation. So, dapat alam niyo to kapag ka nagte-text na yung NDRRMC na orange rainfall na or red rainfall na. So, for possible evacuation na kayo, maghanda na kayo ng mga gamit sa isang bag. At i-safety nyo na yung mga gamit nyo sa bahay. So, sa red rainfall advisory naman, torrential na yung classification niya. 8 gallons per square meter per hour na yung kanyang rain measurement. Serious flooding expected in low-lying areas or yung sa bahain talagang katulad ng Marikina. Lagi naman yan, taon-taon yan eh. So, may nakita ako sa Facebook na minansagan niya yung bahay nila na The Annual Resort. Nakita niya, The Annual Resort kasi daw, annual kasi taon-taon na daw mayroong resort ang bahay nila kasi ganoon yung nangyayari sa kanila taon-taon. So, rainfall advisory, ayan, red warning. Yellow warning, ibig sabihin, malakas ang pag-ulan sa loob ng 1 oras or susunod pang 2 oras. So, orange warning, maging alerta na kasi matindi ang pag-ulan sa loob ng 1 oras at susunod pang 2 oras. Red warning or walang humpay ang pag-ulan sa loob ng 1 oras at susunod pang 2 oras. Kailangan na lumikas. So, sa storm surge naman, our color-coded warning system ng storm surge. So, pag green, no alert. Pag yellow warning na, ibig sabihin, tumataas na yung water ng 0.5 to 1 meter. Pag orange, orange warning na, yung alert na kayo, 1.1 to 3 meters na yung taas ng tubig. So, pag red warning na, take action. Or 3 meters above na yung expected height na tubig. So, sa red warning, storm surge is catastrophic na. Sa orange, expected. Sa yellow, possible pa lang. Sa green, ibig sabihin wala pa, no action required pa. So, pwede nyo itong i-save para alam nyo pala parati yung color coded kasi ang NDRRMC color-coded yung text nila sa atin kapag may mga disaster, may mga typhoons tayo or what. So, for the volcanic hazards, so ang Philippines is also unique for its high level of exposure to volcanic hazards located on the Pacific Ring of Fire. So, the country lies at the intersection of 2 tectonic plates, the Eurasian and the Pacific. So, these plates move continually causing both volcanic events and earthquakes. The country is home to roughly 300 volcanoes, of which 22 are classified as active and 5 are classified as highly active. So, si Taal, si Mayon, si Bulusan, si Talnaon, and si Hibok-Hibok ang limang highly active. So, in January 2018, Mount Mayon erupted and projected lava and volcanic ash 10 meters to 32 feet into the air. Approximately 20,000 local residents evacuated the area in 2013. So, Mayon erupted, killing 5 and injuring 7 individuals. So, dito lang, itong bago mag-pandemic, di ba, merong pumutok na vulkan. Sino yung pumutok na vulkan? During the, before. Kaya di ba, nagko-hoarding ng face mask dahil doon sa vulkan na yun. So, search nyo kung sino yung taal na yun, sino yung vulkan na yun. So, sa earthquakes naman, ang Philippines, the Philippines earthquake risk is similar to that of its volcanic risk because nga, the root cause of both hazards is the same. Kasi nga yung tectonic plate, yung boundary, yung country, yung tectonic plates, nandun tayo, yung country natin is nakatay doon sa intersection ng two tectonic plates. Kaya, marami tayong hazard, marami tayong volcanic at saka earthquake hazards na naranasan. So, the country has an average of roughly 20 earthquakes each day. But, most of the daily earthquakes measures 4.5 or less and do not cause infrastructure damage or loss of life. So, however, strong earthquakes are a serious risk in the Philippines. Seismic activity is common throughout the country except in the Palawan region. So, the population and infrastructure are largely unprepared for a massive earthquake. Philippines Institute of Volcanology and Seismology, or PhilVolcs, has recorded 12 destructive earthquakes from 1968 to 2017. So, 12 destructive earthquakes wala nangyayari natin at sana huwag nang padagdagan. So, sa floods or monsoon rains can be very damaging to the many low-lying marginal areas. So, marginally developed areas in the Philippines. Total annual rainfall is expected in the Philippines ranging from 1 meter to 3.28 feet to 4 meters or 13.12 feet. However, unusually strong monsoon seasons have recently been exacerbated by increased urban development, so which impedes the traditional drainage channels and creates flooding hazards in urban areas. The Philippines is also at a relatively high risk for sea level rise along the coast. So, kasi nga dito matubig tayo sa Pilipinas, kasi nga island tayo kaya ang flooding sa atin is common na, lalo na sa NCR. Kasi doon sobrang exhausted na rin ang place. So, wala na rin talagang matatakbuhan ng tubig. So, tsunamis naman is hindi natin masyadong nararanasan sa Philippines. There is an elevated risk of tsunamis in the Philippines due to it being an island nation with significant seismic activity. So, the coastlines are at the high risk of tsunamis impacts, and most of the coastal areas have endured minimal impacts of a tsunamis. Although the greater and more frequent risk in the Philippines is typhoon-related flooding, however, the nation has not endured any substantial tsunamis-related economic impacts and does not deem tsunamis a high-risk hazard. So, dito nga sa Philippines, hindi siya masyadong high-risk hazard. Ang high-risk sa atin is yung typhoons, flooding, volcanic eruptions, and yung earthquakes. So, landslide is common in Palawan area. So, landslide often initiated by other significant weather events. These are major hazard in the country. Most of the nations or regions, with the exception of the Palawan regions, are highly susceptible to landslides. So, landslides are commonly generated by heat, volcanic eruptions, earthquakes, and typhoons, or increasing monsoon rainfall. So, landslides are most common in the mountainous and inland regions of the island and tend to impact rural populations most heavily. So, commonly, nangyayari siya sa mga Palawan, such na mga mountainous inland sa regions sa atin. Okay. Droughts or tagtuyot. So, the islands of the Philippines endure weather conditions related to El Nino. So, after the typhoons, ito naman ang mararanasan natin. Natural hazards na susunod. So, yung typhoon sobra. Tapos ngayon, ang tagtuyot sobra din. Kasi iba na talaga ang panahon ngayon. So, including prolonged drought conditions from postponements in seasonal monsoon, precipitation, severe drought conditions impact the economy and the population. So, droughts result in lack of clean drinking water, water scarcity, reduced hydropower generation, and increase in water quality. So, during droughts, nadi-decrease yung water level natin sa mga dams. Kaya, ang tendency nun is maglalak yung clean water natin kasi nga yung dam natutuyo siya. So, kakaunti yung supply ng tubig. Yung mga pananim, konti yung nasusupply na tubig sa kanila. And increase in hydropower generation. So, pansinin nyo kapag tag-init, sobrang taas ng mga electric bill natin kasi dahil nga sa sobrang init talaga. Okay, so lesson 5, basic life support. So the topics are the basic first aid for medical emergencies, not breathing, bleeding, shock, heart attack, choke, electrical shock, injury, eye injury, burns, exposure to hazardous materials, broken bones, heat stroke, fainting, epileptic seizure. So, learning outcomes at the end of this lesson, you should be able to demonstrate knowledge about the basic life support in different cases and apply the basic life support if needed. So, topic 1, the basic first aid and medical emergencies. So, when a serious injury occurs, you have to think and act quickly. Act calm and quickly. So, medical assistance may be only minutes away, but sometimes seconds count. So, sa emergencies kasi, di ba, seconds count. So, what should you do in those first few seconds and minutes can make the difference between life and death. So, quick, calm, and correct action can make all the difference. So, first aid is emergency care given to the sick or injured before medical personnel arrive. So that is why a knowledge of first aid and CPR or cardiopulmonary resuscitation is so important. So topic 2, for not breathing, ano ang gagawin? So when a person is unconscious and not breathing, irreversible brain damage occurs. Within 3 minutes, you have to act very fast. So someone trained in cardiopulmonary resuscitation or CPR should lay the person on his or her back while someone else calls 911. When loosen the clothes, so loosen your clothes around the neck and make sure nothing is blocking the mouth or throat. So, tilt head slightly, breathe into the person's mouth, and continue until EMS personnel arrive. So, first, give 30 chest compressions by placing both hands in the center of the victim's chest center, with one hand on the top and the other and the other pressing down with the heel of your hand. 1.5 to 2 inches. Press quickly at a rate of about 100 compressions a minute. So next, open the airway by tilting the head slightly and lifting under the chin. So do not move the victim's head back if you suspect a neck injury. So from a seal around the mouth and pinch the nose. Use a pocket mask if you are trained in its proper use. Breathe 2 slow breaths into the person's mouth, enough to make the chest rise and fall. Then continue chest compression. Once you begin CPR, continue until EMS personnel arrive. So, topic 3, bleeding. So, pag heavy bleeding is another serious medical emergency. If your coworker is bleeding heavily, you have to stop the flow of blood while you wait for the EMS person to arrive. Because at the risk of a bloodborne disease, you must wear gloves from the first aid kit if possible. Kasi may sugat yan. Pwede ma-infection siya kapag wala kayong gloves. So, when administering first aid for so next, cover the wound with a clean bandage from the first aid kit. Then, apply pressure with your hand directly over the wound. And do the same thing if a finger, hand, or other body part has been amputated while you are applying pressure to the wound. So, have someone else place the amputated part in a plastic bag with ice and make sure to wrap the severe part so that it doesn't directly touch the ice. So give the package to EMS personnel or rush it to the hospital. In many cases, severe limbs can be reattached. So stop the flow of blood, wear gloves, cover the wound, apply pressure. If a body part has been amputated, put it on ice. So, na-experience ko yan sa tatay ko, nasunder yung kamay niya, naputol dito. Tapos, in-stop namin yung bleeding. Yan ang ginawa namin. Kinover namin yung wound. Nilagay namin sa ice yung putol. Then, tinaas lang namin yung kamay niya. Ganyan. And then, naibalik siya. Naibalik yung kamay. Ngayon, okay na, pero hindi na siya natitipid. So, for the shock, lay down the victim, cover, and raise the feet. Lay the victim down, cover the victim to give him or her warm, and raise the feet slightly above heart level para dumalo yung blood. So, sa heart attack naman, call 911 or call emergency person dito sa atin kasi dito wala 911. So, make victim comfortable, loosen tight clothing, check for medication, keep victim still, and don't give stimulants. Don't give stimulants. Ano ba yung mga stimulants? Like coffee or tea. So, topic 6, choking. Ask a person to speak or cough and deliver 5 back blows. Perform abdominal thrust and repeat sequence of back blows and abdominal thrust. But if the person can talk or cough, first deliver 5 back blows between the person's shoulder blades with the heel of your hand. So, sa electrical shock naman, the rule of dealing with electrical shock are the following. So, do not touch a person who is contact with a live electrical current kasi pwede kang makuryente din. So, if you do, the current can pass right through the person you and cause the same injury. So, pwede mag-pass sa'yo yung electric shock doon sa hinawakan mo. So, turn off the power to the electrical equipment involved or yung main switch na agad ang i-turn off nyo. So, call emergency person. Electrical shock can be life-threatening kasi you want to get EMS personnel on the scene quickly in case the victim has stopped breathing. So, remove person from live wire. So, remove yung person na nakakuryente sa live wire and be very careful so you do not get a shock too. So, stand on something that's an insulator or rubber mat, wear rubber gloves, and use a dry stick. So, wooden broom, handle, or board to push the person away from the wire. Do not use anything metal, wet, or damp. So, once the victim is safe, check for breathing, begin CPR if the person is not breathing. So, sa eye injury, splashes, particles in eye, blow to eye, cuts near eye, penetrating objects. So, eye injury is also known as physical trauma. It is a damage to the body caused by external force. So, this may be caused by accidents, falls, hits, weapons, and other causes. So, major trauma is injury that the potential cause prolonged disability or death. So, eye injuries are common workplace medical emergencies. Eye protection can prevent most injuries, but in case, we should be familiar with the first aid for different kinds of eye injuries. So, for chemical splashes, flash eyes for at least 15 minutes with water. Kailangan mo inamusan yung mata, 15 minutes with water, and then close the eyes and cover them with a clean cloth. So, get immediate medical attention. So, sa atin, kapag natalsikan tayo, iba, kinukusok natin. So, hindi pala gano'n. Inamusan for at least 15 minutes and cover it with a clean cloth. So, for solids naman, particles, dust, odors, etc. in the eye. Flash water until particles come out. So, if you won't come out, cover the eye and seek medical attention. Don't let the victim rub the eye. So, bawal pala yun kapag napupuwing tayo, huwag i-rub. Ang ginagawa ko pagka napupuwing ako dati, gusto ko lang kinukusok hanggang sa matanggal. Kasi, diba, ang katwiran natin, luluha naman yan, matatanggal yung nakapuwing sa atin. So, mali. Dapat pala, hinamusan hanggang sa matanggal yung dust or yung particles sa loob ng mata natin. So, for a blow to the eye, apply cold compress for 15 minutes to reduce pain and swelling. Get medical attention. So, for cuts near the eye naman, bandage loosely and get medical attention. Don't let the victim rub the eye. So, tabunan ay, bandage yan lang kapag may cut sa kalapit sa eye. So, for objects that penetrates the eye naman, don't try to remove or move or put any pressure on the object. So, immobilize it by placing a paper cup or soft bulky dressing around it, secured with tape. So, bandage the other eye so that the victim will keep the injured eye still. Get immediate medical attention. Burns. Burns are another common workplace hazard. So, you can be burned by hot surfaces, hot materials, or by properties of certain materials. First aid for burns depends on the degree of the burn. So, first, second, and third degree burns, meron tayo yan. So, third degree burns na, kailangan na ng medical attention. So, first degree burns, redent, painful skin. Second degree, blistering, and third degree burns, charring, deep tissue damage. So, sa first degree burns are the least severe. They are just involve the top layer of the skin, which becomes reddened and painful. So, first degree burn pa lang yun. Kapag second degree burns na, there are more serious and include blistering in addition to reddened skin and pain. So, first and second degree burns may be threatened with cold running water for relief of pain. So, then cover the burned area with moist, sterile dressing. Don't break blisters on second degree burns. Sa third degree burns naman, the skin is destroyed. So, you see charring and deep tissue damage. You may even see exposed bones. Sakit. So, for third degree burns, call immediate help, and keep the victim comfortable until help arrives. So, always get intermediate medical attention for all works kasi wala tayong masyadong first aid dyan, kundi yung water lang, rinse lang natin siya ng water. Pero kapag ka third degree na, get medical attention. So, call for help na lang. Especially those that are severe and those that cover large areas of the body. So, topic 10 are exposure to hazardous materials. So, eye, skin, inhalation, ingestion. So, unprotected exposure to hazardous materials can sicken or even kill a person. So, these are the basic first aid procedures for these exposures. For exposures to the eyes, flush with water for 15 minutes and get medical attention. So, water lang talaga pag sa eye. Flush lang ng water sa eye. So, for exposures to the skin, flush with water for 15 minutes and get medical attention for burns and other damages. For inhalation of vapors or gases, move the victim to fresh air immediately. Administer CPR if necessary. So, for ingestion, have a coworker call immediate help. So, another employee can also call your local police center for more first aid information if necessary. So, for broken bones, look, ask, and treat for shock. So, the rule for treating people who may have broken bones is never to move them unless it's necessary for their safety. So, neck and back injuries are specifically risky. So, kasi neck and back is parang ito yung main bones natin. Kumbaga, ito yung kapag ka na broken yung bones natin sa back and sa neck, connected lahat ng body natin yung nagkakataon. So, better to keep safe yung neck and back bones natin. So, the wrong move could cause paralysis or death. If you suspect broken bones, call for emergency medical assistance and instruct the victims not to move. So, then look for swelling and deformity. So, ask the victim to rate the pain. So, explain how the injury happened. And if he or she can move the injured limb. So, paano ba mag-ask ng rate ng pain? From 1 to 10, gano'n kasakit? Kasi lagi sa hospitals. So, treat for shock if the person shows symptoms. Okay. For topic 12, heat exhaustion. Working in a hot environment on a hot day can be very stressful for your body. So, heat exhaustion may start out as discomfort and fatigue, but can quickly develop into something more serious. So, symptoms of heat exhaustion include pale or flushed appearance, weakness, heavy sweating, headache, moist and clammy skin, dizziness, and sometimes nausea or slight fever. Nausea pagkahilo. So, first aid for the heat exhaustion involves these steps. Move the victim to a cool place. Lagyan siya sa malamig na lugar, sa medyo malamig na lugar. So, have the person lie down, higa, elevate feet 8 to 10 inches, loosen clothing and give the victim water and encourage him or her to drink slowly and apply full compresses to the head and body. Yun lang yung first aid for heat exhaustion. For heat stroke naman, if a person suffering from heat exhaustion is not treated promptly, it can turn into heat stroke. So, heat stroke is a life-threatening condition in which the body gets so hot that it can cool down. So, signs of heat strokes include very hot and dry skin, extreme tiredness, and confusion. So, you have to act fast in cases of heat strokes. Call immediate help. While you're waiting for help to arrive, cool the person down by posing his body or her body with cool water or by fanning the body. So, Palamigin niyo yung katawan ng victim. Monitor the victim to make sure the airway remains open. So the person is breathing and the person has a pulse. So if you work in a hot environment and if you exercise or work outdoors on hot days, we should recognize the symptoms of heat stroke and take precautions to prevent overheating. So water lang natin. So for painting naman, painting or dito painting so painting can occur when blood pools in the legs. So reducing the blood flow to the brain, people may paint when they are standing for a long time in the heat. So painting can also be brought on by stress. Hindi ka na natumba, ano talaga? Pagkahimatay, So, check the person who was painted for breathing. Check nyo kung nagbe-breathe pa siya. If the person is not breathing, so begin CPR. So, kung ang person naman is not regain consciousness within a few minutes after painting, call for emergency or medical assistance and continue to monitor breathing. Otherwise, if the person quickly regains consciousness, have the person lie down with the feet slightly elevated, loosen any tight clothing, then allow the person to rest for 10 to 15 minutes until normal blood flow is restored and the person feels calm. So last is the epileptic seizure. So a person having an epileptic seizure may fall to the ground and have convulsions. If a person appears to be having a seizure, so remove the victim from any dangerous objects or hazardous situations. Kasi pumipisik-pisik to kapag nag-epileptic seizure. So check for breathing. Don't put anything in the victim's mouth. Try to put the persons as comfortable as possible and call for emergency medical assistance if the seizures last more than 5 minutes. So, kapag nag-last na more than 5 minutes yung seizures niya without signs of slowing down, call for immediate help. Now, if the person has trouble breathing afterwards, or the person is in pain or other injury is present. So, that's the end of our lesson. And do you have any questions? If you have any questions, just PM me lang sa Facebook ko or doon sa group or message me sa aking mobile number. And maybe our midterm examination will be at the end of this month. At the end of this month, and I will announce this and then I will post it to the group and sa ating Google Classroom. So, yun lang and thank you so much.